there friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Amy here, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to teach you a type of technique, something that you might want to try. You can apply it to card making, scrapbooking, anything paper crafting. And we're going to do this technique using the April 2024 Close to My Heart Stamp of the Month. This stamp set is historic. It's going down in history because it is the very last Close to My Heart Stamp of the Month. It's kind of really sad. It is featured on the back page of the March-April idea book. So you can see this is a set of 15 images. It's got adorable hedgehogs and they are a nice size. It's got some flowers and then some great sentiments that I have been using on all sorts of things with other stamps and projects. And then there's two really fun cards here. So what we are going to do is make a stencil to coordinate with this stamp set. It does come with the thin cuts. If it's still available, I will post in the description box everything I use, and I'll list if it's retired or unavailable. Things are selling out quite quickly on the Close to My Heart website. But it comes with a thin cut, but I have really enjoyed doing some stenciling. Stenciling is a great way to color quickly. And these images are very easy to color. In fact, at the end of this video, I'll show you some other ways that I have, other mediums I've used to color these in. But today I am going to focus on creating a stencil. So without further ado, I have some of our 4-inch masking tape. This is a low tack tape, and I love the 4-inch width. You can get a bundle where you get a 4-inch width and then a 1-inch width. And I already have my stamp image on my block. And what we're going to do is just ink it up and stamp right onto the masking tape. Now this is a large image, so what I do is I have the block with the image facing up, and then I just take my ink and my ink pad and will pounce on it. And you could put the foam piece that comes with your stamp set, you could put that underneath to get a clearer image, but this is just the stencil, so it doesn't necessarily matter. And then I am just going to stamp this right down onto my masking tape. It is a bigger image, so I'm just kind of moving my fingers along the block. And there is our image. And again, it's going to be a stencil, so it's okay if it's not super vibrant. And then what I'll do is cut this using our non-stick microtip scissors. And then the next thing that you want to do is get your basic packaging tape. And you are going to tape over the masking tape. And this is just going to allow you to use your stencil over and over again. And what I like to do is just store these in my stamp envelope. So I have them if I choose to use the stenciling method. I'm just going to trim this a little bit, and then we'll add just a little bit more tape. And then the next step is you're just going to decide what areas you want to have for the stencil. And cut that area out. Make sure I'm in the camera, sorry about that. So I think what I am going to do, and there's no right or wrong way, you can do it whatever way you want, but I'm going to cut out the bodies right here. And how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to fold this a little bit and cut a slit. And then I can go around and cut inside those lines. And that's where these microtip scissors really come in handy, because they're small and they're sharp. And these are the non-stick ones, so it's the blades are not sticking to the tape at all. So what I'm going to do is I'll turn the camera off and I will finish cutting out the bodies, and then we'll be back and we'll do a little bit of stenciling. All right, so here is my stencil. I'll lay it down on my table. You can see that I've cut out both of the bodies from the stamped image and then the center of the flower. We're going to make this flower a daisy. Now, I did already stamp this image on a piece of white daisy cardstock. And what we're going to do is lay this right over it, and I'm going to get some of that masking tape, and I am going to mask over the flower because I want that to be a different color. Let me get some more tape to hold this down. And then I've brought over, oops, it moved. Let's do this again. There we go. And we'll just add this right here like this. Okay, and then I brought in my mist ink. I'm going to try adding color, making our hedgehogs gray. I've been coloring them brown, and I want to try doing some gray. So let's see if this one is dark enough. Got my blending brush. I have a piece of scrap. I'm going to top off, and then just with a light hand, and remember, when you're stenciling, there's always more ink on the paper than what appears to your eye. I'm just going in gentle circular motions. And let's see what this looks like. Oh yes, I like this. So then if we lift this up, see how fast that was? I love it. Now let's take the masking tape off the flower. Make sure this is lined up. And we'll move this. And I've got my Sundance. And get a yellow blending brush and do the same thing. Pick up some ink. I'm going to top it off. And then we will just add some ink to the center. Now I stamped this, the image on the white daisy this morning, and I have let it dry, and there is no bleeding or blending. It looks great. So super easy way to add color to images. And now what we'll do is we'll finish coloring. Okay, before we finish coloring, I'm just going to take my stamp chamois and clean off my stencil. And then, because we put that masking tape on, it can be reusable. So I'll just store this, I'll let it dry, and then I'll store it in my envelope with my stamp set and my thin cuts, and I'll have it for the next time. So stamp chamois are great for cleaning stamps as well as cleaning stencils. I usually, the regular stencils that we buy, I will just run those under the kitchen faucet and then tap them dry with a paper towel and then let them air dry, just sit on the counter. But with these ones that I make with the masking tape and the packaging tape, I'll just wipe them with my stamped chamois and let them dry and put them in. So now you'll see I am just coloring in the prickly parts of the hedgehog with my Colorista gray pencil. This is the Flint gray. These are a chalky pencil. I love these pencils. They are not watercolor pencils, but they blend so nicely. We're not really doing a whole lot of blending with this particular project, but I really like these. So not sure if you're able to see the gray in there, but trust me, it's there. And then I've got my brown gray blend, Triblend marker, and I'm just gonna quickly go over the details. And what this is doing, it's giving it some texture. Kind of looks like some shading, the foolproof way. I am not an expert at coloring. I love to color. I find it very therapeutic, very relaxing. If I'm stressed out, I'll color. It's funny because some of my customers, I find they either love to color or they despise it. It's kind of like tying bows. And I love to color. And when you have the Triblend markers and the Colorista pencils, they're both made by Spectrum Noir, and I highly recommend them. What's nice about the markers is there's 3 shades in one marker. So you get a light color, a medium color, and a dark color. And that makes it easy to shade too. And I watch a lot of coloring videos, tutorials, and I learn from them, and I just play, and I learn something new every time I'm coloring. I guess maybe sometimes I create my own rules. But you see how neat this is, where we are combining the stenciling with the colored pencils and then the marker. It's just 3 different mediums, and I really like the end result. So now I've got my dull or light green blend marker, and I'm going to take the mid color and color in the stem. And I'm just going to take the dark end of this marker and color in right here to add some definition. So if you haven't seen these before, you can see there's a dark tip, a mid tip, and then a light tip. So 3 tips in one marker. And then to finish off the daisy, just to give it a little bit more color, I'm going to take my gold yellow blend, and I'm taking the mid section, and I'm just going over the little details on the petals. Now that I'm doing this, I'm thinking, gee, I wonder if I should have used my citrus yellow, a more yellowy. This is more of a sunflower color, but I like it. I think it's really cute. And now what I can do is add this to a card. So let me get some parts and pieces, and we'll create a card with this. All right, so I ended up cutting out my image with the thin cuts, and now I have a piece of white daisy cardstock, 1/4 of an inch smaller than card front base. So it's 4 by 5 1/4. And I just went through my scraps. I should probably put adhesive all around the outside edge. And I just cut scraps. In fact, let's just start here. And what I'm going to do is cover up this whole base. So I'm using various patterns from the current March-April mix-ins, and I'm using all periwinkle colors. I thought that the periwinkle would go nice with the gray hedgehogs. So I'm just going to fill this entire sheet up, and then we will build a really simple card. So I'll get done doing this. I'm going to trim this and then just continue to add to the card front. So I'm putting a bunch of strips down, then I'm trimming the back. And you can see I pulled in my all-purpose mat. That works really well because the sticky adhesive will come right off. So let's see. We'll add another heart. And I cut these strips in all different thicknesses. They range from 1/8 to 1/2 to 3/4, and then I even have 1 inch. Let's see if I can, let's get the gingham. And I'm gonna put a little bit more adhesive right here. So again, this is a really simple card. It's giving you some suggestions on what to do with scraps, but the main focus, the main purpose of this video was to teach you the stenciling technique. So I will finish covering this up and I will be back. All right, so here is our panel. I love the patchwork look. I went ahead and already put some foam tape on it. So we'll adhere this. This is the thinner height. So it will just add a little bit of dimension to the card. And then I did pull in my fancy brackets, thin cuts, and I cut the large bracket out of honey butter, and we will adhere this right to the center, and then add our cute little hedgehogs. So again, a very simple card. You could pop this up if you wanted to. I'm just gonna do it flush because the panel is popped up. Super easy card. And then if you want, you could add a sentiment to the inside. So I pulled my Periwinkle Ink Pad, and I'll get my Periwinkle brush. I think I've shared in previous videos, I love keeping my blending brushes in these little boxes that come in the photo organizer. You get 24 little boxes inside the big box, and they're great for storing photos, but as you can see, I also use them to store tools. So I'll put the link in my description box. So what I'm doing is just adding a little bit of periwinkle to the center of the card. I will clean up my mat so I don't get any ink on my project. And then we can look at the stamp set. It's so thankful. I'm so thankful for a friend like you. A little something for you. Hello. Happy to call you friend, for a special friend. I think we're going to do a little something for you. So I'll get a block and we'll ink this up in black ink, and we'll just stamp directly over what we sponged just to allow for that greeting to stand out. So this card is a great example of what you can do with scraps, and you don't really need to decorate a whole lot because the background is pretty busy. But there you have it. We made our stencil, we stenciled in some of the images, and used our scraps to create a card. So if you like this video and could give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. I am super excited to announce that I have hit 1,000 subscribers, and there's going to be a little celebration collab coming very soon. So stay tuned for that, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye-bye. I did forget to show you, I told you that I was going to show you some other ways that I colored in these hedgehogs. So here is an example where I colored in the hedgehog brown with all markers, and the daisy is done in all markers. And then here is that same image that we did here, but it is done in brown, and I use the lightest side of the gold brown marker. So you can see you can get different looks using different colors. And I created a stencil for this image too. So here's my stencil, and I put it over like that, and I actually stenciled the flower with Sundance ink and a blending brush, and I stenciled the body with toffee ink. And then I went over his pricklies with a dark brown, the earth brown marker, and added the little details with the Triblend marker on the petals of the flower. So lots of different ways that you can add color to these cute little hedgehogs. I would love to know in the comments which is your favorite. All right, thanks again. Hit that subscribe button and like the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.